Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I hope you're feeling great. I'm feeling fantastic. Jay Jackson, the chicken box is back. Another weekend. How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good, good. You remember we talked about that? How people just, say, "How you doing?" Everybody says fine. They got everything going on in their life, but nobody really wants to share. Like, I'm not feeling fine, but I said fine anyway, because that's the stock answer of how I'm doing. But how are you really doing?
I am busy. How about that? That's a good way.
Busy. All
How
right.
about yourself?
Is it organized busy?
Sure, let's go with that.
All right. I'm doing fantastic. I try to wake up and say great things and grateful things every day, and I try to stay in a fantastic mindset every day, even though it may be chaos going around us. But I just plant myself in God early in the morning. And I'm like, what we doing today, God? I know it sounds unorganized, but it really works. Anyway, this is the Chicken Box. If you just tuned in, it's my man Jay Jackson and myself. We are talking about, man, this is Cancer Month, Breast Cancer Month. This is I think everybody has somebody in their life or their family that cancer has touched
Absolutely.
some kind of way. Either they've overcome or that cancer seems like it took them a little too soon. Um, and it's a topic that needs to be talked about. And I'm really glad that we're really here to share and to really spend time on things that not just funny and silly all the time online. We can talk about some things that mean something to somebody. The Chicken Box, you guys, is powered by the Afro American newspaper. Just go by Afro News now because newspapers, of course, are getting where cassettes and 8 tracks used to be. But we're a media company, 133 years, and we celebrate that, telling the beautiful stories of Black people, not only in the Baltimore, Washington area, but all over the world. But we created the Chicken Box right before the pandemic. And that, if you're from Baltimore, you kind of know what a chicken box is, right? Full wings, fries. You want a half and half with it, and So every week I say this, I get hungry. You ever just think about fried chicken? Is it hard? Can you make a mean face when you're thinking about fried chicken? I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
I've never seen anybody angry and say chicken at the same time. But unless they're in the fight and they call you a chicken, but that might be something different. But anyway, where you speak your truth, where you get on the box and you really just talk about whatever's on your heart and whatever's on your mind. And the platform has just been here for us for the last 5 years, and we thank the Afro. So visit theafro.com. But we have a special guest with us today, Jay. Why don't you introduce her? Because I really want to hear more about her story. And we're going to just have a good time, a casual conversation on the box today.
Absolutely. Born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, Desiree Waters is a devoted wife, mother, and grandmother, and great-grandmother. A proud graduate of Northwestern High School, she continued her education at Towson's Stafford Business School and Morgan State University. After a fulfilling professional career, Desiree retired in November of 2023. In 2017, Desiree began the most personal and profound chapter of her life, confronting cancer not once, but 3 times. Each diagnosis deeply tested her strength, faith, and resilience, challenging her to lean into love and trust in God. Through her darkest days, the prayers and support of family, friends, and even strangers became her lifeline. Her debut collaborative book, When Cancer Knocks at Your Door, is a heartfelt offering of wisdom, hope, and encouragement for those facing similar battles, as well as for caregivers and supporters. More than a story, it's her truth, a testimony of perseverance and unwavering faith. At the heart of Desiree's message is a powerful reminder: a cancer diagnosis may shake your world, but it does not define your worth or determine your destiny. Instead, it can be a gateway to resilience, renewal, and discovering inner strength you never knew you had. Welcome to the show, Desiree.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Desiree, Baltimore's own.
You
She put
sure
that
did.
Northwestern High School in there, y'all. Shout out if y'all went to Northwestern. Welcome to the show. So let's find out a little bit more about Desiree. We know you went to Northwestern. We know you're in Baltimore. You say you're a retiree. What did you retire from? Because that you said that with a capital R, retiree.
You got that right. When you pay your dues, you say it with a capital R.
Right.
um, I initially worked at MCI back in the day, which is known as Verizon
What?
then.
MCI?
Yes. Cutting edge, MCI. And now they are Verizon. I was fortunate enough to manage all their partnerships. So I had the pleasure of working with all the CEOs and VPs of like Northwest Airlines, American Airlines, all these companies that we were in partnership. I also owned my own event planning business for 15 years, and that has mainly been my life other than my family.
Absolutely. Welcome to the Chicken Box. You took us back to a lot of mergers and acquisitions. MCI,
Oh yeah.
Verizon, Northwest Airlines, Delta. See, you gotta be a certain age to remember these things. But welcome to the Chicken Box. But Jay mentioned that you were inspired. What inspired you to write this book, When Cancer Knocks at Your Door?
Well, the inspiration was not one of my own. The person who was the visionary author, her name is LaDonna Stanley Thompson. And it was her God-given vision to bring some individuals together as men and women together to collaborate to tell a story about their cancer journey. And that's how I embarked on this journey.
Excellent.
Man, Jay, jump in.
You talk about how faith was a central part, became very central to your journey through cancer. How did your sort of spirituality shift from the first diagnosis to the third diagnosis?
Well, when I first started out, I would venture to say that nothing was going to beat me. I had God on my side and I was going to jump in with everything I had and fight this fight, which I did. I tried to, first time around, I went the holistic approach. I did not do any radiation or chemo. Second time around, just before I was diagnosed, I had a freak accident and I got hit in the head with a car tire by accident. Someone thought that they were slinging it onto a pallet, but they slung it into my head. This was just before the world shut down. And I got diagnosed with my second bout. And that bout was different than anything I had ever experienced. I gave my life to the Lord at 16. And I had never been in a place of darkness like I came to once I was diagnosed with my second. Because I think at that time, what happened was the first diagnosis, the head injury, and then the second diagnosis. I think, just defeated. I felt, why me? I just felt like I couldn't get a break. And thank God for me, all of my life, I never dealt with anything. I led a very healthy, vibrant life until cancer. And so I got into a very dark place. And believe me, it was no prayers of my own because I literally couldn't pray. It was the prayers of the people who surrounded me, who loved me, who lifted me up, that brought me out of that darkness. I don't even know when I woke up, to be honest. I just know one day I felt free and I could live again. And then behind that, I got my third diagnosis.
And how did you feel like once the third diagnosis comes, does it feel sort of like I've been here before, which I know that sounds kind of silly because you had already been there twice. Since you hit such a rock bottom, I guess, feeling or defeated feeling in the second one, did the third one, did that feel like, where are we going now? Or did it feel like, was there a sense of like, all right, we've gotten through this twice before, we can do it again?
I really didn't think of it at all. It took me by surprise. I was actually in the last couple of treatments of my radiation when I got diagnosed with my third. I was sitting on the edge of my bed when the left side of my face went numb. I reached out to my oncologist because I immediately thought it was something to do with the radiation, because the radiation treatment had really taken a toll on my body. And when he referred me to a specialist, he said, "Oh, don't worry, it's an enneagyoma, which is common when you get older, no big deal." And I explained to him at that time that my history of my life is, if it's 2% of the people that get something of a diagnosis, I always fall into that 2%.
Right.
I'm right. I never fall into the 95 with everybody else. I get the 2%. And so because I had been battling cancer twice, he just felt the need to go in and take a look. Now, this was metastatic breast cancer that has spread to my skull bone and a lesion behind my right eyes that if they removed, I would be blind. Wow. So they went in through my nose into my skull bone, got the biopsy, realized that at that point there was a hole in my skull bone, and got the sample. I was hospitalized for about 3 days, and no worries, it's going to be fine. They were all, and I had the best of doctors. But I knew that day before leaving the hospital, when they came in and said, "We're going to send this sample to Johns Hopkins just for a second opinion," I knew right then and there something was wrong, that they had to not go with what they found, but they had to send it out to Johns Hopkins. And anybody who knows anything about Johns Hopkins, if you're from Maryland, whatever, it is the cream of the crop. That's where you go when chances of your odds of not surviving, you're going to survive there. They're the best of the best. And it took probably about 4 weeks before they got back to me to say, yes, it was actually cancer. And here I was again. So no real woe is me or anything. It was just like unbelievable, like not again.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I cannot imagine getting a third diagnosis of this. I was, or however you want to phrase it, a very close friend of mine passed away a number of years ago of a brain tumor, and he was in his 30s. And he had been fighting cancer from the time he was 18 or 19. He was diagnosed, and then several remissions, and sort of back and forth. And just I remember a number of iterations being told it's back and back, and and at a certain point, you do see them kind of feel that what you're talking about, which is like that low point, and then the next time it's kind of like, okay, I guess we're just doing this again. And you're kind of amazed of like, how are you not like totally freaking out? And it's kind of, it's so surprising. And then maybe not because of the experience. This is sort of a weird kind of, situation.
It is a two-edge, yeah. It really is, because you are surprised, but yet you're like, is this really happening to me?
Yeah. It feels like a movie. Right. Like you feel like you're in a television program, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I appreciate your candor there. Like that's
not a problem. I want to tell the story. That's the only way people can learn and hear things, if you're honest and you put it out there.
Absolutely.
So you say you have been relatively healthy your whole entire life, and were you getting regular physicals and doctor's checkups and all of those things?
Every year.
Every year. So cancer kind of just sneaks up on you.
Well, let me, if you don't mind me answering that here.
Okay.
When I was diagnosed the first time, I spent 2 years caring for my father. My father had Lewy body disease, and if you know anything about that, that is what Robin Williams killed himself over. It is a form of like dementia and schizophrenia. And during those 2 years is when I stopped taking care of myself. And when he died, I knew something was wrong, but my father needed me. And that is something I want any listener to know. I don't care what you're doing for somebody else. You have still got to put yourself first. I didn't do that. So for the 2 years that I was watching him, I wasn't doing my regular checkups or anything. And here we are. That's when I was diagnosed.
Absolutely, because I mean we've heard of things of early detection. Those are great words. And when you said that, I thought about I'm on an airplane a lot, but they always say put the mask on yourself first before you
Yes,
put it on your child or someone else. So you can't really help anybody else until you're doing good yourself. I'm gonna
exactly.
write that down as a reminder, guys.
Ex-
This is the Chicken Box. We're talking about cancer. We're talking about victory. We're talking about Desiree Waters, her faith, her fight, her story, right here on the Chicken Box, powered by the Afro News. Guys, if you haven't seen the Afro and you think it's gone, go to afro.com. We are much, much, much alive and kicking. And we're sharing this wonderful story, testimony, and victory with you guys. Because Desiree, you're lighting up my screen, girl.
oh,
I am glowing through this story. I'm feeling very blessed and inspired because it's just sometimes as Black people we don't, even though you were going through it, sometimes people are going through nothing and don't get checked up. And then you wonder
Very
why
true.
your engine locked up. The oil light was on.
as
And
my father used to say, everything gives you a sign before it breaks down. You just ignore the sign.
absolutely. And for those people who run out of gas, I'm sick of y'all because you did that gas light bill has to be
Trying to
on.
ride it to the end.
Yeah.
Ride it to everything. I'm like, good Lord. Anyway, let's get back to uh it takes courage to share your story, but they say everything that you go through, it's not just for yourself, but it's for somebody else. Can you explain that?
Well, I think I can say that here, but I never thought that I would actually be here as far as telling my story about cancer. In fact, when LaDonna, who I had known for several years, when she reached out to ask me, originally I declined. I said, I am not a writer. No, thank you. Then, as some time went on, I agreed. And when I agreed, a couple months later, I was diagnosed with my third, and I rescinded my offer. And LaDonna said she was going to wait for me. So I never joined any of the calls with all the other authors. I wrote at my own pace of when I could write, when I had strength, because she waited for me. So to be here in this chair right now, speaking with you all, is something that I still shake my head at, because I think that when you have cancer, of what I have learned, don't take it as the end of your story. In fact, it can be the beginning of a new one. You don't know what it's going to bring out. Like me, who would have thought? Not me. And yet I'm here trying to be an advocate, trying to help somebody else along their way, thinking I was going to be retired with my feet up, eating some bonbons and having a nice little whatever on the beach. And here I am speaking to you, hoping to help somebody else.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm very impressed by your ability to sort of, what I would argue is like synthesize all of these feelings that you have around all of this. I mean, going through these diagnoses and surviving them and everything else, but also still being like quite happy. And, it's just like sort of giving this hope to people. I think one diagnosis, some people would just be like, I wouldn't even know what to do. I would be terrified and I would just fall apart. And you're a testament to saying, not only did I do it once, I did it 3 times, and I'm still here to tell that story. and, and trying to give people advice going through it, or potentially going through it, or taking care of people who are going through it. Which brings me to my next question. You mentioned that you were dealing with your dad's illnesses, and that was a time that you were not taking care of yourself, which always kind of reminds me of that idea of the caregiver burnout, right? It's like a very real thing. People often go, oh, this person is sick, but their kid or their, whomever, a family member is taking care of them, or a friend, but they forget about that person who's doing the caregiving, because it's like they're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's really rough on people. In your view, I mean, I mentioned in your bio about this being a book that's also for caregivers and supporters of, going through these things. And sort of in your view, what is the sort of misunderstood aspect of being a caregiver? Because you've been on both sides of this, right? I'm sure you had people who were, your husband and whoever, and other family members, even strangers, like you said, that were caring for you, getting you through these 3 diagnoses. But you were also a caregiver to your father going through his issues. So what's the misunderstood or least known aspect of caregiving that you want to talk about?
Well, I'm going to say, for me, you can sit back and you can say what you think a position is: caregiver, cancer patient. Right. But until you walk the journey, you have no idea. And so I think what I can offer is what you can do to support a caregiver. A lot of times what people do is they'll call you and say, well, if you need anything, just let me know.
Okay. And then they don't pick up the phone.
Well, the thing about it is that if I'm caring for someone sick and I'm doing everything in the household, I don't have time to sit back and think about what to give you a list to do for me.
Correct.
That adds to my stress. It doesn't alleviate my stress. Right. So what I would offer to caregivers or people who know caregivers and want to support the person being sick and the person who's caring for them, just show up. Put a giant gift card in a card and send it to them. That's money. Help feed somebody. Right. Show up and say, look, you go ahead and you get some rest. I'm going to watch this person for the day while you do what you can do to alleviate some stress off of you. Because being a caregiver is stressful. I remember one time I was so tired of taking care of my father. And my father lived an hour away, so I drove 2 hours every day. Wow. To take care of him. And I was invited to a kid's birthday party. So I wanted to just stop in for a minute. I was extremely tired. I went in, stayed maybe for an hour and a half. I came back out and I looked, I said, what are my car lights doing on? I never even turned my car off. I got out, locked the door, went in and came out. I was tired. You can offer so much to somebody without just asking. Just showing up and doing. Fix a meal. Say, look, I'm just coming by, drop off a meal. I don't want anything. I don't need to sit and bother y'all, but here, I know what you like, so here's a meal for you. Well, I'm going to come over and clean up your house today. I'm just going to do some vacuuming and some light cleaning for you. That's what I would offer, what you could offer a caregiver, in my opinion.
No, I think that's a very good point. That idea of just that unsolicited sort of support, I think, is a pretty profound thing, because you're like, all right, well, I got to care for this person all day. Then I got to put together a meal, and then I got to put together, a lunch and a dinner and a breakfast and all that. If somebody just shows up with a, big pan of lasagna and like, hey, don't even worry about it for the next 2 days, that's a load off your back. Yeah,
it is. It is. And then people, they mean well. They really do. I don't think people don't mean well, but just to say, what can I do? Or let me know what I can do. Let me know. Is there anything I can do? I can't think right now. Just I gotta stay in the grind.
Right.
Because when someone's sick, there are days that I was so sick I couldn't even turn over to get to the bathroom to regurgitate. I mean, in my bed, my husband had to care for me. I mean, so washing some clothes, anything will help. Just do it.
Yeah, no, that's a powerful point. Thank you.
Man, that was great because you just think about, my wife was a caregiver for her dad for like 20 years, and he was legally blind, but he can get to the bathroom. I mean, he was smarter than, his brain was sharper than than you think. But I'm just saying, but just the day in, day out, every meal, every doctor's, everything,
Put some gas in my car.
just show up. I like that. You gotta just show up. It's the same thing, like after the few days of the funeral. People like, well, it's almost feels like the same thing. You need anything? I guess we don't know what else to say when we call, but now we do, right? If you watch it, if you're watching this show, people just need you to show up. Just go over their house. Don't even ask them. Drop something off. That, you can order a bunch of food from Walmart now, or wherever, and just have them deliver it. You don't even have to, and put a little note on it. Check your front porch.
Exactly.
And it will save you a trip of even having to go out and do some shopping or some other things. So those are great life lessons, because I think everybody really does. Genuinely, the people who call and say, "What can I do?" They really want to help, but they like, should I call them? Should I not call them? Am I going to bother them? I know this just happened. And sometimes people want you to call them because they just want to talk. And then other times, you don't know the time. So I'm going to just go with this. Whatever the spirit leads you to do it. I love it. I love it. We are talking to Desiree Waters, everybody. She's written this. She's part of. Did you write the book, or are you part of the book?
My story is in the book.
Your
there were
story
5
is
of
in
us.
the book. Okay.
Yes, there were
5
5
stories in the book. Right.
Yes.
You know who hadn't read the book yet? Me. But anyway, I'm getting to know the book.
I'm gonna get you a copy.
Go
buy one. Where's the just send? I'm waiting. Our producer will put the link up, guys. You need to pick this book up. I think it's on Amazon, right?
Correct.
Well, to support, because we're all individual authors,
Gotcha.
to support this local author, you would just go to bit.ly/D for Desiree, W for Waters. And everything will be in there. My story, my journey, some other things that I've done, and how you can purchase the book.
Okay, we're gonna try to get that bit.ly, because I know it's a bit.ly link, but
yeah,
we're gonna find it and we're gonna post it up on screen for people watching now and people who watch later, who want to know where to get your story directly right here on the Afros platform, which is going to go to your platform. Today is all about Desiree. It's all about cancer survivors. It's all about the fight. It's all about when it knocks at your door, right? What happens when anything knocks at your door? What happens when opportunity knocks at your door, opposed to what we appear to be bad news? Did you take it as bad news when it knocked on your door?
Let's say, for me, I knew something was wrong. So that's the spiritual side of me. I knew something was wrong. Didn't know what, but I knew something was wrong. Anyway, when my husband and I were sitting there and we were told, I think initially it was like disbelief almost. It's like being numb. But the first thing I think you think about is, I'm going to die. Because when you hear that word cancer, immediately, and I think it's just the way of how America has conditioned us, that you think of a death sentence. So in that moment, I know I did, but afterwards, I didn't. I just thought it was something I could fight. But we didn't talk on the way home, my husband and I. When he was driving, I think we may have said 3 words because our heads were spinning. Oh my gosh, what is life going to be for us now? Because we didn't have all the other intricate pieces then. You just have the diagnosis. And then they give you a stack of paper about this high for you to go home and read. It's overwhelming, very much so.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
A stack of paper. I mean, you just have to sit with it. And
Well, I'm an investigator at heart. And that's something, if you don't mind me saying here, I would advise anybody being diagnosed with cancer is to read everything you're given. Your doctor can't spend 24/7 with you. You might see him for 30 minutes. He can't answer everything in a moment. You need to investigate for yourself, read it, have questions. Hopefully, you're connected to a portal or have some way to contact them, which I would just write him and say, "What about this? Can you tell me about this?" And he would just answer my question at his convenience. But it's important because this is where you're going to learn a lot of things and then do your own investigation. In spite of what they told me, I use the internet and to find out stuff on my own. Thus,
absolutely. Yeah, I
how
mean,
you find out things, because they can't tell you everything.
they say doctors are just practicing.
Oh, I hope.
They call it a practice. I'm not saying that
I got you.
they got some some clinical trial. They got some things that they can narrow it down to it, but they're not the end all to be all.
Right. And they don't have every answer.
They get it wrong. And then when they really confused, they send it to Hopkins.
Yeah, well, and be your own advocate. Or if you can't advocate for yourself, find somebody in your family who will. And because I was an investigator at heart, and once you get the book and you get my portion of the story, everybody laughs because I talk about healthy diet recipes. I talk about you need to know what your blood type generates, what you need to feed your blood type. So all of that is a part of the cohesive unit to getting through this process. So you just sometimes people just have to have it handed to them. And that's what I'm hoping I'm doing. I'm handing them a blueprint to help question something in their mind, answer something that they have a question about, and to move them along their journey that they don't have to do or spend the countless hours I did looking up stuff myself.
That is fantastic. I mean, I'm excited about what's going to happen to somebody who's probably going through this right now or has gone through it, and they can plug in. Is there a place that someone who just gets this news about cancer can just plug into, and they might not want to talk to other people at the time, but is it a safe space that they can go talk to other cancer survivors?
Well, they have a lot of free programs out. What I would recommend is you start with your insurance company, because a lot of times they offer free support groups virtually and together. A lot of times, this is what I'm saying about doing your homework. You don't even know what your health insurance will provide because they're not freely telling you, unfortunately. You have to ask, what is it? Are you offering anything? Blah, 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 or however you want to do it. But yeah, start there. Find out what's being offered. And then in your communities, a lot of times they offer things. Sometimes they even offer somebody coming in to do light cleaning. You'd be surprised what's out there. But if you don't look for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how would you know?
It's not going to lay in your lap most of the time.
That makes sense. Yep. Going back a little bit here, you talk about how the diagnosis did not define you, right? And it is a thing that happened to you, but it is not who you are. And I think that's important. I think and I don't have a judgment because I've never been through it. So I don't know. Some people that becomes their sort of a lot of who they are and surviving it and what have you. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong. Again, I haven't been through it. I couldn't possibly judge that. But for you, how do you internalize that truth that this isn't who I am and not make that you're still telling your story, but not saying like, I am my diagnosis or surviving this diagnosis? Sorry if that's a super heavy question. I realize.
No, not this. I just want to make sure I'm answering it properly. Cancer is a 1 day at a time disease. You're going to have great days and you're going to have not so great days. I don't know if you all are aware, but when they diagnose you free from cancers after 5 years, that's the technical mark of when they call you cancer free. The diagnosis of my third bout, I'm just 1 year in. I'm struggling daily with the medications that are making me very sick, trying to determine what I'm willing to live with, what I'm not willing to live with. And so for me, it's a 1 foot in front of each other every day. I can't get too far ahead of myself because I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And for me, my faith is a major component. I'm like, God, whatever it is you want from me at this stage of my life, I want to be for somebody else. So when I look at this door of talking to you all that I think is a great privilege, I see it spiritually as God opening up an avenue that something that I lived or is said will help them take it 1 day at a time. And do you. Don't mimic my story. Let something I may have said or done help you through your journey. But like I keep saying, your journey is going to be your journey, and my ups and downs may not be your ups and downs. Right. My battle, although generic, we can have a generic, we are cancer patients. But what I endure every day, you may never endure. So you just kind of have to hold yourself by your bootstraps, hold on to whatever that person is you're loving. For me, it was my husband who I could hold on to, who helped push me when maybe days seemed a little darker than others.
Shout out to your husband. Shout out to everybody's husband and wife.
Yeah. Or like my bonus mother. You know, my father's gone. My bonus mother, my mother's gone. My bonus mother was with me in the trenches every day. And still to this day, because I'm still going through challenges. But it's okay. I'm going to be all right. And when that time comes, or if that door closed, I've done all I could do for where I was to help whoever I could help. And if somebody needs something, my email is in the book. Email me. I'm open to help anybody through anything at any time. Did I answer your question?
I think it did. I think it did. Yeah, I think you're good. Yeah, I think you nailed it.
Okay.
All I could hear was "Well done, my good and faithful servant." That's all I could hear when you said that. You know that. I see Desiree when I see joy, and a lot of times people are looking for happiness, and sometimes that's connected to things that are happening. But when I look at you, Desiree, I see the joy of God, and that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I hope everybody you come in contact with gets a chance to experience that too.
Yeah, but also letting them know that where I am today wasn't where I always was. So, want to be real with people,
Oh, yeah. Well, you could be real, but I mean, you can still, I mean, like when it's raining outside, that don't mean I had to go hit my head against the wall and inside, right? I can still smile just because it's raining and sunny.
Right. Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying is, and I think Jay was touching on that earlier. I mean, you know who you are and who you belong to. So, your circumstances doesn't change you or hasn't shaken who you are from the core. And that's what I can appreciate, even from this short time.
Thank you.
And you had to say Northwestern. That y'all get that later. She done took over the show, y'all. She's ready. You won't have to start streaming live now. You just come to that setup. In your husband's office, if you get too popular, he gonna have to build you your own little studio in the house.
Oh Lord.
And you can see, and you can start your journey about when cancer knocks. That could be a whole podcast or streaming, and you're the person for it. So anyway, that's
Thanks for saying that.
That's another story. And you can still be retired. How about that?
That wouldn't be retired. But I get you.
Right. So listen, it's coming towards the end of the show. Again, guys, go to afro.com. For less than 2 Uber Eats, $40 a year, you can have a digital subscription that comes straight to your smart device or your computer every day and every week. And you help tell great stories like Desiree's for the next 133 years.
Yeah.
We're proud to tell your story, Desiree, and I thank you for sharing. This is where we get on the box, where we say, kind of get on the soapbox or the chicken box and tell your story. So I'll go first. I am glad that you had the courage to be a light for others who may be struggling or going through something right at this moment. I hope they see it. I hope somebody that knows someone who's going through with cancer would share this. Just hit the little share button right on your Facebook page. It's an arrow that goes this way for those who don't know, and you can share it with someone else. And I think when we begin to share the good news and the good stories of hope, we're better off as a people and as a human race. So thank you, Desiree, for joining the Afro today. We really appreciate your story and all that you do to really help somebody else, which is what you said it all was for. Amen to the 4 years that'll go by very quickly, and they'll say, but I'm gonna say you free today. I'm not going with them that's practicing. They put numbers to stuff. You free today, Desiree, because you have to wait 5 years. All right, take that out of it. Jay
Okay.
Jackson.
All right. Desiree, I appreciate you being on the show, first of all, and telling your story. Look, I think your journey is one of like a powerful testament to sort of human resilience and using your faith to drive that. I think your story isn't just about surviving this. I think it is about how it sort of tested you and transformed you in a lot of very serious ways. And I think your message about what it is to be a caregiver and to need caregivers is also pretty profound. So I don't know what else to say besides telling people to go read your book. I'm glad you're here to tell that story and, and be around well past your, 5-year, stamp of we already knew you'd be fine type of thing. I have a couple friends who've made it past those 5-year marks, and to say they are happy is a massive undersell of it. So, and so I don't want to say I wish you luck, but I think you're going to do well and take on whatever challenges that may come if they do come. So I appreciate your story. I think a lot of people would love to hear about this. So I would encourage them to go read your book. So thank you. And
thank you.
Now your turn to be on the box.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for having me. It has been my great honor to speak with both of you. You've made me so relaxed. But to anyone listening who is battling cancer, supporting someone who has cancer, or is a caregiver, reach out, find out what's available to you and for you in your community with your health plan insurance. Also, take it one day at a time. Keep faith before you and surround yourself with people that help you to fight. Very important. That's all I have.
Okay.
That's why you don't want to be in the alley with people who can't fight. You're going to get beat up.
You need a team.
No question.
Hey, you guys, here's the book. in case you see the cover somewhere and you be like, I've seen that somewhere before. Here's the book where Desiree's story is. Go get it now. It's available. We put the link up. We'll put it up one more time before we leave. If you could put that link up real quick. There we go. Boom. Her story right to your digital device right now. I'm gonna have to copy it myself and get it. All right, y'all. This has been another great chicken box. Remember, go call a senior. They love to hear from you. And don't ask them, what can I do? Desiree already said she gave us the playbook for what you can do for a senior at a funeral and a friend that is a caregiver. I love all of those things. Just do something. Don't even call them. You know what they need. They need money, they need some food, and they might need some cleaning or some house cleaning. Those three things can help just about everybody who's going through something, whether it's a senior, a caregiver, or somebody that just is going through a bereavement stage in their life. Until next week, God willing, Desiree Waters, Jay Jackson, and I'm impeccable. Look, I'm putting you in it like you on the chicken box.
You got it.
All right, you take us out. Let me hear you take us out like it's a newscast. Go ahead, Desiree.
Well, thanks for tuning in. See you next time on the Chicken Box.
I love it. Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Bye-bye.